I'm interviewing Reed, Director of Technical Sales and Service with Progressive Pumps. Can you tell us about a recent success story?
Oh, absolutely. We recently performed an overhaul on a large Bran+Luebbe Novados pump. The pump itself is a single-headed chemical injection pump, weighs about 2,000 pounds, and it puts out about 8 gallons per minute at 1,000 psi. The original scope of work was a routine inspection and create a scope of work to help out the customer determine what was necessary to overhaul it. By the time the pump actually was received, it was upgraded to an emergency job, and they requested that we put all hands on deck to get that back as soon as possible.
It sounds like that kind of job would have a lot of challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. It had a lot of challenges. The first challenge was time and allocating all the resources necessary. We would normally spend about a week just inspecting the pump and building the scope of work. We ended up doing that in about a day. From there, we allocated the resources for machining of new components, as well as machining of and reworking some of the existing pieces that were damaged as found. Procured a bunch of parts over the weekend so that we could go to the next step, which is assembly. It is a larger pump, so moving her around and putting it together does take some time, obviously. Assembly of such a large pump is both easier and harder. You know, on one hand, it's larger parts, easier to get inside and put together, but at the same time, those parts are a lot heavier, so that's a challenge in itself. Fully assembled, the pump was about 2,000 pounds. Testing was also quite a challenge on this due to the higher flows and pressures. We had to have all the necessary fittings and safety procedures in place.
Okay, why do you call this a success story rather than another project?
I consider this a success story for a couple reasons. A normal repair would allocate at least a week for initial inspection and typically another 4 to 5 for machining, getting all the parts in, assembly, testing, painting, and all that kind of good stuff. We did this complete overhaul from receipt to shipment in 9 days. Ultimately, the real measure of success is meeting the customer's expectations. From the get-go, we sat down with them, we set out a timeline and a scope of work so that we could meet their expectations, and we did so. In the end, we provided the right repair, and it was on time to their expectations, and as always with Progressive Pumps, it was 100% guaranteed.